So the voice, the God that is speaking and is doing, is performing. I can teach you there's a million aspects of the prophetic that you need to understand before moving into it. Let me give you one word of humble advice. Humble. Do not call yourself something that God has not called you.
Right, Prophetess?
Hallelujah.
It's just humble.
Thank you.
It's humble. Do not call yourself something that God has not called you. If God has not called you a prophet, do not call yourself a prophet. Remain a servant. Remain a son of God. Wait until the appointed time comes. And don't permit everyone and anyone to prophesy you. Don't permit every and anyone. Because your light, your star, your gifts, it will shine when you're in this type of a church. It will be obvious. It will begin to plop out. It will begin to come forward. It will begin to be enhanced. And people will come right in these doors and wait for some of you, like they sometimes do. They wait until they see everyone who's a worker distracted, and then they come and they're giving you a word, or they're trying to pray for you right while or they wait for the bookstore, or they wait till you go into your car in the parking lot. You know, they got cameras like all out there, y'all didn't know that. But the point is that one day one of my administrators said to me, Prophetess, I'm so glad that you don't ever go to the parking lot. I said, why? They said, the foolishness. The foolishness. I was like, what do you mean the foolishness? They said, people be laying hands, people be... Sometimes the lines are long for the bathroom because people in there giving somebody a word. What the Lord told them. We're meaning to talk to you. So you have to I want to just say, guard your heart. It's not that everybody is a false prophet, but if you begin to position yourself to hear, to operate in a vertical position with God, if you just wide, where anyone can just come and tell you everything about God. I want you to go through a process of being detoxed, being delivered, being sanctified, being consecrated. And then, because the wrong wolf will pull right up on you. Yeah, let me just tell you, I see where God gonna call you. You ain't gonna be in this church long. You're gonna have your own church. God calling you and your wife. Y'all gonna have your own ministry. Y'all gonna have a worldwide ministry. Your ministry gonna be bigger than apostle and prophetess. So then you are shipwrecked. Because all you remembering is that person. Was they from God? Or were they from the devil? Do you know that the devil can disguise himself as an angel of light?
Yes.
Are you all hearing that? Do you know how many people married the wrong person because someone came in a dream and said, my name is Jimmy.
My God.
And God said, I'm your husband. And they spend their whole life looking for Jimmy. And when they see Jimmy, they say, oh, I dreamed about you. What's your name? Jimmy. You dreamt about a Jimmy before. Is this Jimmy? And you married Jimmy. But what you didn't know, that was a spirit husband would change the face. You get me? And gave you the wrong. Let's just say the name was Jimmy, with the wrong face. So people end up getting in the wrong relationship because they heard something. No, this is what I do with prophecy. And I train people who are prophets. Be sure Be very sure. Sure to the third degree sure. Don't let people put their foolishness on you. David was like, your armor really don't fit, so no. Because that's the spirit that is out. It's either out to kill you or God will send somebody to help you. The last thing you need to know today, and I said this at least 3 times, so hopefully this is the last. You will either eat from the table of a true prophet or you will end up eating from the table of Jezebel. Jezebel had 450 prophets that ate from her table every day, along with additional 400 prophets of the grove. And I will tell you who they were later. These were people operating in a perverse spirit. One of the things that trails prophetic ministries is a Jezebelic spirit. Is a spirit of Jezebel where it is not submitted. The spirit of Jezebel, the word Jezebel means unprincipled, unhusband, uncommitted. Even though Jezebel in the Bible was married to Ahab, she was the husband. She had no loyalty to him. She was not submitted to him. She ran the whole kabang, and she had no humility. Jezebel fed the false prophets. When Elijah came to Mount Carmel, those were 850 of them that showed up. They all belonged to Jezebel. In fact, she had killed all the other prophets of God. Thank God, Obadiah, the prophet, was able to hide 100 in a cave. Be careful of the spirit of Jezebel. Are you all hearing me? As a, forget prophet, as a member of a local church, any gift you feeling in your life, pray about that gift and ask the Spirit of God to use your pastors to help you to harness that gift. That gift. Like you want to make sure it go to the right screening. Like you don't want to be, and I'm not trying to get you so demon conscious that you just every day thinking about is it demonic or is it real? No, I want you to want it to be where it's put in a strainer and we shake it up and we say, ooh, look at that. We find something. Let's just take that out. Let's just take these out. And then when we say, okay, yeah, you're doing good. Ooh, look like something show up again. Let's get that out. This is what Jesus wants, a pure church.
Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
There will not be so much breakaways. There will not be so much overnight wonders. There will not be so many people. So a lot of people are prophesying, but there's some of the things they're saying God is not saying. And he said in Ezekiel, woe to the prophet that say that I have spoken and I have not spoken. So it has to be careful. Everyone will stand in the judgment for whatever deed you do in your body. So you have to be careful. And if you are under a prophetic ministry, pray for the prophets of that church. So that even they themselves, that we would continue to operate in the grace of God. And you always pray that your pastor never becomes Saul. That your pastors never become Saul. Trying to kill every gift, trying to shoot down every... No, it has to be where there's an understanding in that church. Now, if you're out of order, be willing to take rebuke and correction.
Prophet.
One of the things a prophet also does is they exhort, they bring comfort, but they also should be able to bring correction. If your prophet cannot correct you, you are in trouble already. If the next thing is, because now, remember, some people can hear the correction, but they can't take it. They walk out the church. They go and sit in the car. That moment when you walk out, a demon walks out with you.
Yes.
And that demon enter you and he realized he could work with you now. We have found one in the church. And that's what begins the day of your fall. That's what happened with Saul. He could not take a rebuke from Samuel. And he lost his kingdom just like that, because God said to him in the book of 1 Samuel 15, he says, stubbornness, iniquity is like what? Stubbornness and rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And Saul could not take it. Samuel said, why? Why did you rebel against God? And he started saying, oh, the people, oh, to this. And Samuel said, just your kingdom, you're in trouble. And when Samuel the prophet went to walk away, Saul hooked onto his end of his rope and ended up tearing it. And then he said, this is exactly how your kingdom is going to be ripped away from you. What a sad story. I pray to God that we never hear those words.
Amen. Lord, hallelujah.
So to obey is better than sacrifice. To obey. If you are sensing something, if you are dreaming something, if you are seeing something, then is it possible that there's a gift in your life? Very possible. Then let us harness, sharpen, develop that gift. Or did you feel something at some point where the Spirit of the Lord came upon you? Like Saul did. Samuel told him, you're going to come into the company of some prophets. He was looking for his father's sheep. And he was looking for Cush sheep or donkey. And he said, you're going to come into a company of prophets. And when you come into their midst, you can start prophesying. Saul said, but I'm not a prophet. He said, watch and see. And just as he said, as he came into the company of those prophets, Saul started prophesying. The people was like, is Saul also a prophet? But just for that day, he prophesied. After that, he could not prophesy anymore. Because the spirit of prophecy will rest on a person, but then it lifts. But notice, it was under the tutelage of other prophets. It never operates on its own tangent. Goes off on its own, thing. Ministries that are apostolic and prophetic, as this one is always being fought by people that are Jezebelic. Where Jezebel hates this type of ministry in a community or anywhere. So you will see that it's hard sometimes. The warfare is great because the spirit of Jezebel over that region fights churches that is apostolic and prophetic and that is powerful in nature like this. So what does that type of church need? Prayer. Prayer warriors. And that's where I will close the session today. We can use, yes, more prophets, yes, more this, more that, more whatever. But if for right now, if God can trust you at the prayer level, at the intercessory level, at the worshiping level, at the praying at the fasting level, we will win in this city, in this state.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Now, will you clap your hands better than that today if I bless you?